Hi, everybody, grievers, recoverers. This is Rachelle Jones, Grief Recovery. One of the most challenging and difficult jobs I've ever had has been to be a stay at home mom. Back in the day, I was a surgical ICU nurse with the United States Air Force. Of course, I have this job where I'm a grief recovery method specialist. I was a pediatric in home nurse. I've done different things, but honestly, the most challenging thing has been to be a stay-at-home mom. And there's so many reasons to that, but the one I'm thinking of specifically is, life is happening all around us all the time, myself included. And there are things that would come at me, whether it was an argument with my husband or, something happening in the family or a friendship relationship or something like this. I would feel weighed down. I would feel sluggish and just heavy in my mind and just, oh man, trudging through the day. I remember, gosh, those were such challenging days, especially when my kids were much younger. This was necessary. Of course, they need us to be engaged and involved with them when they're older, but I'm thinking like younger. You're at home and your toddler needs you to play with them. They need you to do make believe. They need you to build blocks. They need you to talk colors and do sensory, and they need you to do all of these things, but you're sluggish, you're tired. Do you ever get that way, or was it just me? And I found that to be extremely difficult when my body's like, no, you can't take another step. But then I'm in such conflict because my body is saying, no, we can't do it. But my heart is like, but I have to, because the baby, because the little one, because the toddler, because the 5-year-old, because the 16-year-old, it honestly doesn't matter, needs you to be engaged, needs you to be involved. And it's freaking hard, isn't it? It can be really hard sometimes. I want you to know that I hear you. That job is a really difficult job, at least from my experience. Fun too, of course. But the thing is, we don't have a lot of times as stay-at-home moms. We don't prioritize ourselves. For the most part, we don't know how to find ourselves on the schedule. Generally, maybe you do. Great, you've got to figure it out. Share it with the rest of us. The method that I use that I have found effective here in my home. My kids are 16 and almost 13. I'm still having really difficult times, but I still have to be engaged. I still have to be involved, as well as run a business and among other things, right? So there are different options for these grief recovery method classes. There are the 2-day classes, which are fantastic, but maybe you don't have 2 full days for someone to watch your little one, or maybe you can't be away from your 16-year-old for 2 whole days because what could happen, right? Maybe you don't have help or backup or something like this. So there's another option that I teach, which is a 4-week class where we meet twice a week, Monday and Thursday, for 90 minutes each. Perhaps that's an option that appeals to you. As well as there's an 8-week class where we meet once a week for 90 minutes. Oftentimes I do that when babies are in bed or before they wake up, before the day starts. Some people get a babysitter once a week for 90 minutes so they can take their class, because they do need to be able to be present and be focused for their class and minimize disruptions and interruptions. So perhaps that's something you've really been struggling with, is finding your footing and getting engaged the way that you wish you would be, the way that you hope you could be. Perhaps a grief recovery method is for you. Let's get some of that weight off of you, get some of that fog out of your head, and get you back engaged where you really want to be. I hope that's helpful. I love you. Talk to you the next time. Bye, everybody.